approval isn't love. And I know that you know that deep down inside, but that's kind of how I feel when it breaks my heart seeing creators online who are so talented, have such loud, beautiful voices, trying to create and produce things every single day because that's what the algorithm teaches them. And it reminds me of when I was young, when I had this impression in my head that exhaustion was discipline, but then we've dressed it up as success. People are trying to convince you that you need to create something every single day to stay relevant. And relevancy somehow is being related to being loved, to being liked. And people love to use Picasso as a comparison, as a way to tell you that you can create every single day because he created 147,000 pieces of work total in his lifetime, and he actually ended up creating 3 pieces every single day. He was creating based off of expressing his emotions. He had love affairs, and those love affairs were his muse to what he created and what he showed the world. But what we don't talk about is that in 1901 he actually had a severe depression and he went into a withdrawal period that people called the Blue Period, where even though no one wanted to buy his work because of what he was creating during that time, he was still creating. He wasn't creating for their outcome, their approval, to stay relevant. He was creating because he loved it, because he needed to express himself, because he needed to take up space. And those ended up becoming some of his most iconic pieces of work later on. Picasso didn't have social media eating away at his voice every single day. He didn't have an algorithm to perform for. He didn't have to post something so that people would buy something from him. He was fully living and therefore creating, which is something a lot of great artists do. They create from feeling, they create from life, they create from the pain, they create from the chaos, because that's what fuels art. The volume that Picasso created had nothing to do with a schedule. It had everything to do with the man who was so deeply, fully present, living his life, that creation was just inevitable. So the next time you feel guilty that you haven't showed up online for 4 days, I want you to remember that the Blue Period in Picasso's life didn't come from performing, it came from coming inwards, so that he was receptive enough to receive what he was meant to create. So stop creating to earn approval and just start creating because you're living life so fully that you can't help but not just create and live.